Jennie Jerome, the mother of Winston Churchill, was renowned for her vibrant lifestyle and numerous lovers. Her audacious love affairs fueled racy gossip throughout the Gilded Age. That time in history where the financially strapped European nobility sought out marriages of convenience with the wealthy nouveau riche American heiresses to rebuild their depleted coffers and maintain their wealthy lifestyle. You might know the story of another Gilded Age dollar princess, Consuelo Vanderbilt, the one most suggested as the inspiration for the character Gladys Russell of the Gilded Age TV show. But Jennie Jerome's story is far more salacious and, dare I say, more interesting, contributing to her allure and mystique as one of the most prominent dollar princesses of the Gilded Age. Born into a wealthy family, Jennie was conceived in Italy and named after a famous singer who was likely among her father's mistresses. It is even possible that she was pregnant with Winston when she walked down the aisle to marry Lord Randolph Henry Spencer Churchill. After Lord Randolph's untimely death, which was rumored to be due to syphilis, Jennie embarked on 2 marriages with men significantly younger than her, causing her to be labeled as vain and frivolous. Despite her constant financial struggles, Jennie had an extravagant taste for luxurious items and could often be seen parading in exquisite Parisian gowns, mingling with the fashionable elite, indulging in romantic affairs, and even displaying a daring snake tattoo on her wrist that sparked conversations wherever she went. Jennie Jerome was born in 1854 in New York and named after the renowned opera singer Jenny Lind. Her father, Leonard Jerome, had invested heavily in railroad stocks. However, unfortunate circumstances led to his financial downfall, resulting in bankruptcy. Undeterred by his misfortunes, Leonard discovered a remarkable talent for a timely investment strategy known as selling short, borrowing stocks with the intention of repurchasing them when their value decreased. He would often manipulate stock prices by influencing newspaper editors and spreading self-serving rumors. Through these tactics, Leonard amassed wealth rapidly, becoming one of the nouveau riche millionaires of the era known as the Gilded Age. Jennie and her sisters, Clara and Leonie, reaped the benefits of their father's prosperity. They were raised in a refined manner, engaging in activities such as horseback riding, skating, and playing the piano. Their parents hosted grand parties with genuine champagne flowing from ornate fountains. Their winters were spent in Manhattan, while their summers were enjoyed in the fashionable Newport, Connecticut, alongside billionaire neighbors like the Vanderbilts. Leonard even acquired a large yacht and built a private theater, where he would showcase a series of opera-singing mistresses, much to the dismay of his long-suffering wife. Leonard later became a prominent newspaper owner and esteemed racehorse owner. However, his financial instability and infidelity became too much for his wife Clara, causing her to leave for Paris in 1867 with their daughters. At the age of 15, Jennie was captivated by the bohemian and indulgent atmosphere of the city. Fate soon intervened when Germany invaded France in 1870, forcing the family to flee to England. It was during a trip to the Isle of Wight that 19-year-old Jennie encountered Lord Randolph Churchill, the 23-year-old second son of the Duke of Marlborough, at a party. Jennie and Randolph instantly fell in love. However, they faced strong opposition from Randolph's family. The couple began engaging in secret meetings in Paris before their marriage, and their relationship grew so intense by early 1874 that there is a strong possibility that their firstborn son, Winston Churchill, was conceived in Randolph's hotel room on Rue de Rivoli. It wasn't until Jennie's father offered a settlement of $250,000 that the Marlboroughs finally relented, for the Marlboroughs spent money lavishly, and any influx of more money was always welcome, even if its source was an American heiress. In April of that year, Jennie and Randolph were married at the British Embassy in Paris. 8 months later, their son Winston Leonard Churchill was born at Blenheim Palace in Oxford. Before her marriage, Jennie had never visited Blenheim, and she was shocked to find it in a state of disrepair. While the palace contained 200 rooms adorned with valuable artwork, many of these pieces were destined for auction to fund the extravagant lifestyle of the Marlboroughs. Jennie found married life challenging as her husband was often away on parliamentary business, leaving her under the watchful eye of her mother-in-law. And when Randolph was there, he was unpredictable and suffered from poor health, even as he smoked 40 hand-rolled Turkish cigarettes a day. Jennie longed for the excitement she experienced during their courtship and showed little interest in her son, who was primarily cared for by his nanny. Rumors circulated about Jennie's relationships with other men, particularly when she gave birth to their second son, John, 6 years later. Speculation grew about whether Randolph was really John's biological father. Their marriage faced many difficulties, including Randolph's alleged visit to a toothless old prostitute after excessive drinking, leading to rumors of him contracting syphilis. Yet despite these challenges, they managed to stay together. Jennie relocated the family to a new home in London, which became a notable attraction as the first house in the city to have electricity. And it wasn't long before Jennie found comfort outside of her marriage. One thing to note here is that contrary to the times, her marriage to Randolph offered a certain amount of freedom. Randolph had been smitten with her and didn't marry her just for the money. With the promise of money and feelings of love and lust, Jennie elicited a promise from Randolph that he allow her to do exactly as she liked. And that is exactly what she did. Jennie Jerome, the scandalous woman, had a string of romantic dalliances throughout her life, both during her marriage and after Randolph died in 1894 from syphilis. An American magazine even nicknamed her Lady Jane Snatcher, due to her fondness for pursuing attractive companions. She was even ungraciously dubbed Lady Randy, if you can believe it. Here is a short list of her many known romantic conquests. 1. Count Karl Kinsky. One of Jennie Jerome's earliest known lovers was Count Karl Kinsky, a Czech nobleman. She was 4 years his senior, a famous socialite and one of the most beautiful women of the time, and he was completely infatuated by her. They met in 1873 and embarked on a passionate affair that lasted for several years. Their relationship was kept relatively discreet, but rumors of their involvement circulated among high society, so I guess you could say that it was a semi-secret affair. 2. King Leopold II of Belgium. Jennie Jerome's charm and beauty attracted the attention of the second king of the Belgians, who ruled from 1865 to 1909. It is believed that they had a brief affair, which caused a stir in both British and Belgian circles. Leopold was known for his numerous extramarital affairs, and Jennie Jerome became one of his conquests. 3. Archibald Primrose, 5th Earl of Rosebery. Jennie Jerome's relationship with Archibald Primrose, the future Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, was one of her most significant dalliances. They met in the early 1880s and began a passionate love affair. Despite both being married, they carried on their relationship for several years, causing scandal and gossip in London society. 4. Prince Louis of Battenberg. Prince Louis of Battenberg, a member of the German aristocracy, was another of Jennie Jerome's lovers. Their relationship began in the late 1880s and continued into the early 1890s. However, the affair eventually ended, and Prince Louis went on to marry Princess Victoria of Hesse, while Jennie Jerome married her second husband, George Cornwallis West. But more on that in just a minute. 5. Prince of Wales, future King Edward VII of England. One of her most notable affairs occurred when Randolph was still living. Jennie is said to have had a 2-year sexual liaison with the Prince of Wales, future King Edward VII of England, a philanderer who is said to have had as many as 55 liaisons during his lifetime. After Randolph's death, they picked up their friendship with perhaps a bit of longing on the part of the king in a letter in which he told her teasingly that she should stick to old friends instead of chasing new loves, and he wondered who her next love victim was going to be. Among her other paramours were the son of the German Chancellor Herbert von Bismarck, who she met on a trip to Russia with Randolph just before he died, and King Milan I of Serbia, who she met while studying in Paris before her marriage to Randolph Churchill. Some historians even claim the king may have been Winston Churchill's actual father. Amidst all of her lovers, Jennie managed to get married 2 more times. 2 years following the passing of Randolph, she found love once again with a man who was the same age as her eldest son, Winston. It was at the esteemed fancy dress ball held by the Duchess of Devonshire, the pinnacle event of the London social season, where she encountered George Frederick Middleton Cornwallis West, a young man of 23. His extraordinary handsomeness was matched by his attire as he appeared in a costume portraying a black slave. Jennie was instantly captivated, falling head over heels for him. Despite objections from his family and even the disapproval of the Prince of Wales, Jennie exchanged vows with George in a lavish wedding held in Knightsbridge in 1900. Jennie Jerome and George ended up divorcing in April 1914 after separating in 1912. Their marriage began to show signs of strain about 10 years after they were married, with George falling out of love with Jennie due to financial difficulties and their growing apart. After their divorce, she returned to her former name, Lady Randolph Churchill. By the end of World War I, Jennie had found a new admirer in Montague Porch, the son of a landowner from Somerset. They tied the knot in 1918 at the Harrow Register Office. Despite Porch being 32 years old and Jennie being 65, her zest for life remained unwavering. She even took on a role in a film and filled her days with travel and interior decorating. Unexpectedly, tragedy struck one day while Jennie was visiting a friend in Somerset. As she descended the oak staircase, she slipped and suffered a severe fracture. Sadly, this injury led to gangrene and ultimately the amputation of her leg. A couple of months later, on January 29, 1921, she tragically passed away at age 67 due to a fatal hemorrhage. And right now is the perfect time for another awesome history video about the Gilded Age.